So I'm going to go here to flatten the height map. Say 5. Cinco? Spanish? Cinco? Very cinco. Oh, See? And I click the button flatten, and my terrain goes 5 meters up. So I'm going to show one more tool. Okay, and pay attention. Is when I have my terrain selected, I have this button here. We see an arrow up. With that I can paint up or paint down. This is my brush. And here I see opacity and the brush size. Brush size is, you see my blue spot here? It's hard to see a little bit, but my blue spot. If I make it smaller, I go smaller. And the opacity is the strength. I will show it. Look. When I click my mouse and I hold it down, see, I can paint mountains. Of course, I can press Ctrl Z to undo. Okay. Oh. Now look, paint a little bit. If the opacity is lower, see the opacity is lower, I'm going to paint smaller hills. See? So we need here, Bogota, see the mountains. But we need Cartagena. I hold down Shift. See? So I'm going to recap everything. Okay. Terrain. I went to flatten the height map. And I put it to 5 meters, so I'm going to put it 5 meters up. I select my terrain. Set the first icon here, raise and lower terrain. I select the brush I want. I say star here. The opacity is the strength or fast. You paint up and the brush. I select the star. But I'm going to take this brush and we're going to paint here some mountains. Bogota, and the mountains. And hold on Shift. And I can paint down to Cartagena. See? You going to try that? Yeah?
If I want to fill my area, how will I go to start the...
Okay. You can always, if you do flatten, again, it will make it totally flat. But you can also use this button to paint at a specific height. See? The height of, say like I'm going to do 20 meters. Then I'm going to paint exactly 20 meters high. So you're going to try this? You're going to make a mini Colombia? Does it work with? You want a recap? So later on you can see what all that goes in the Samsung Galaxy where I can play this all apply that. And you can always press Ctrl Z. Do. I have 2 months at home, but I cannot take them with me. Yeah, this is a beautiful. say I want this somewhere else. Click. Right. So we take many other things. And put it on the other monitor. I want to put it here. Click. Put it there. Put it back in. See? I want this menu somewhere on my other screen. Click. There it is. You can see video. We'll do more. It's cool, huh? Okay, do I continue? Yeah? Okay. When I look at this terrain, I don't feel Colombian. I feel like moving there. So let's add some textures to it. Maybe it's paint, some textures like grass, sand. Okay. Well, the first thing I want to do is import some textures. Now, with Unity, when you do a terrain, it automatically comes with some textures. Okay? When I select my terrain, you see the paint button, and that's how I can paint. But I'm going to bring in first an own texture, so you can see how can I bring in my own texture. You all have the folder called game data, I think. And there is a folder called texture. Just look at my screen. Okay? Admire the screen. And there you see a folder texture. TIFF, PNG, Targa, PSD. You see all different file formats. We're going to import all those textures into Unity. You can import one by one. You can import them all. Or you can select the texture. You can select the folder. Okay? So look, how do I import all those different textures into Unity? Look, very good. I use my index finger. Okay? I select the folder and I drag it into the project. See in the project here? Click on Unity and they're all importing now. And there we see the folder texture. I open it and there I have all my textures. See, that's easy to import textures. Okay, pay attention. Next step. And I select my terrain. Okay? I want to paint those textures. There's some of those textures on there. I select the paint button. What do I see here? No textures, no terrain textures are defined. Well, let's use some of those textures to paint on our terrain. I click the button, Edit Textures. So I can add some textures to that. Click. Oh, add texture. Click. And this menu pops up. Add a terrain. And here we say no, texture is defined here. And there I see a circle with a dot. If I click on that, aha, and I can see them in text, or I can see them in image. And I have here somewhere, well, the texture I imported, sand. Very good. Double click on sand, and then the button add. Wow. That's my first texture, put it on my terrain. Okay, so I'm going to quickly recap. I went to the folder texture, selected it, and dragged it in the project. I select